Good morning. Today we have a message for all of you. With so many threats going on, which is one connected to the diseases like viruses that are spreading in the air and terrorism on the other side, we have to be careful how we transact with each other. In Krishna knows, you have seen that we are having our satsangs always online. You will find our satsangs in multiple medias where you can actually go and see them in the confines of a much safer environment. You can stay at home in your own room and watch these kind of satsangs. There are entire satsangs from Sai Satcharit to Bhagavatam. Now we are having the Uddhav Gita going on and the Bhagavad Gita. Ensure that you take care of yourself and stay away from public as much as possible. Be safe, not sorry. Thank you. Today we are doing Uddhav Gita. This is chapter 8, verse 36. But like I had said that I will be giving you a small idea about the previous verse that happened. In yesterday's satsang, I had covered everything which a person should not be doing. It talks about withdrawing the organs of action and the sense organs. So whatever that goes out, whatever we see, hear, touch, feel, or experience outside is all unreal. What we have to do is to go inwards. The mind is the main organ which gives us an idea of what we experience in the outside world. If it is happiness or sorrow, if it is misery on one side or it is love on the other side, whatever that you experience are two extremes. These two extremes are absolutely unreal. They do not last for a very long time. Transactions that we do with human beings, animals, birds, or whatever creatures that are there, the sentient beings, are all going to be very short transactions which will give us a certain amount of happiness or a certain amount of sadness. We have to always move towards the permanent and not dwell on these sad things. So yesterday's satsang was based entirely on this unreal domain. Today we are going to do everything which is what everybody is supposed to think of. That is how to be a perfect human being. So today's satsang is all about how a perfect human being should be. We are doing Uddhav Gita, chapter 8, the last message of Sri Krishna. Verse 36. The perfect man does not behold the evanescent body sitting or standing, removed by chance or restored by chance. For he has realized his true nature as man. Dead drunk does not care about the cloth he wears. Sri Krishna is telling Uddhava. Now in the Bhagavad Gita, you have seen Krishna is giving the satsang to his devotee Arjuna. Here, Uddhava is being addressed. Now, who is Uddhava? Uddhava is all of us. And who is Arjuna? Arjuna is the person who is actually fighting in this world his small battles or his wars. These are circumstances which appear to Arjuna. And Bhagavad Gita is all about. Bhagavad Gita is all about teaching one how to overcome difficult circumstances. And Uddhav Gita is all about how an individual can overcome his entire life, how he is supposed to live his entire life from birth to death. So Uddhav Gita has got more power than Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is temporary. It is just between the war. It is a small time solution for how to get out of that problem. But Uddhav Gita is the last message of Krishna. And the last message teaches us how to live this entire life and how to be a perfect human being. We have to try to be perfect. It's not that you're going to attain perfection. Because you are the body, every human being can feel the body. And this body, senses, mind, everything that is connected to the bodies. I said bodies because we have three bodies. The first one is called the gross body. Second one is called the subtle body. And the third one is the causal body. We are anyway confined to this bottle called the body. And because we are confined in this body, our job is to overcome this bottle. And that is the reason why the perfect man is an important one that we have to achieve, living in this material world. So first, Krishna says, you have to forget that you are the body. Because everything that happens in this world happens to the body. Think about it. Just now, before this, I gave a message on the diseases that are there spreading in this world and the fear factors that are there associated with us. Terrorism on one side, people in our lives, difficult situations, how we are going about working with them and the environment is the problem that we face every day. And all that is connected to the physical body itself. The physical body means the one that we are, which you can see, touch, feel. And the mental body is the one that gets affected the most. So this body that is there is always under stress. The perfect man does not behold this body. He knows very well that he is not the body. Why is he not the body? Look at yourself. If you cut off your hair, you will say, this is the hair of so and so. If you remove the teeth, you will still say, this is the teeth of so and so. Even if you take out the last part of the body, or if you see a cadaver, a dead body, you will say it's the body of so and so. But does that man exist in that body? Man also means a woman also, okay? So does that person actually exist in the body? No. You say this is the dead body of this person. That person is not there. That person is different. So never mix the body with that person. You are not the body. This is the first thing that you got to understand. Body is the cause of all the miseries in the world. Understand, body is important. I am not deriding the body over here at all. A body is like a container. If I have to drink water, I need a container first to drink water. Isn't it? Container could be a glass, container could be a bottle. It's exactly like that. If I do not have a container, I do not have anything to do. Think. The ghosts, the demons, which we cannot see, they have subtle bodies. They do not have physical bodies. And because they do not have physical bodies, we can't see them. You have a physical body, and actually it is something which is useful, but we misuse it. The body is a tool that has to be used, not misused. Body is an important tool to live in this world peacefully, calmly, with love and understanding, care. But we are interested in all the wrong things in the world. So he says, please do not think of yourself as this body, which is sitting and standing, removed by chance or restored by chance. What does it mean by removed by chance or restored by chance? If you take the body, that means today you have this physical body, but tomorrow it may so happen that you may leave this body and you may become something else. The religion teaches us about rebirths. Maybe you will get a dog's body, or maybe you're going to get a bird's body or something like that. The body can be restored or replaced. You can just replace it. So if you get replaced, what happens? Can you give importance to that body? Remember, as a human being, you may be looking down on a creature. You may be seeing the creature down there and say, hey, it's so dirty. Or it is so dangerous. And you may become that worm. So what are you going to do? So this is the process where you have to not pay so much of attention and not give the body so much of attention. Otherwise, you are going to get into trouble. This knowledge and this understanding that I am not the body has to stay with you. Then the extremes of feelings will never arise. You will be able to overcome them. How does a sage live? He lives completely detached. There are people who will say a lot of wrong things to him. They will call him a robber, a this, a that, a person who is a bad person, and so on and so forth. And on the other side, people will pray to him, they will come and touch his feet, they will do his puja. So both these extremes are there with a sage. Does he get disturbed? Does he bother himself about it? He really doesn't bother. In case of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, there were good people like Vivekananda on one side, Mathur Babu, Girish Ghosh, and there were other people on the other side. Those who derided him said a lot of wrong things about him. Did it change him? No. He was the simple human being who had come to teach spirituality. A person has to be completely detached. The consciousness of the body also was not there. That is the reason why sometimes his garments would fall off. He would just be walking up and down with his garments not there at all. A sage can be like that. A sage doesn't have to bother his head about, oh, it is too cold, it is too hot, This is not good, that is not bad. You see, he doesn't bother about these things. The extremities do not exist in his world because he is always lost in the self. And this is what Krishna is talking about. Realizing your true nature. What is your true nature? Your true nature is you are not the body. You are not the mind. You are not the senses. You are that effulgent being. There was an article yesterday which was published which spoke about some great business leaders who just have 3.5 hours to 4 hours of sleep. But they work so many hours non-stop. How do they do that? Are they not same as you, a human being? They can get up, they can do their work, and they cram their life with so much of work that you find Elon Musk is not only digging tunnels, he wants to go to Mars, he wants to make batteries, he wants to make cars, so many things. His mind is constantly going grrr like that. He's thinking of how the human beings can be fitted with things over here in the brain. And look at yourself. You can't get up in time. You don't bother about, doing your work in time. I mean, think about it. You're giving so much of importance to the tamasic body of yours. Oh, I got to sleep. I am feeling tired. I have a problem. I am having this pain. How can the pain happen to you? Why is the pain not there with Bill Gates? You will say, oh, he has a lot of money and he can take care of himself. Sorry, he will also get the same cold that you are going to get. Think. Then how is it that he can extend himself and work so much? Shame on everybody. Those who think that they have to give reasons. The self is pure. You are not the body. You can overcome the body. Look at the people who do not have to wear shoes and yet they can beat the timings of the races. Have you not seen that? There's a person here in Karnataka who has beaten the world record for 100 meters. How? You think he was wearing some shoes, fancy shoes and running? He was running in the muck. You think he gave some reasons? Oh, I can't run because I got one sprain in my leg. These are reasons which people give. They give reasons for not getting up. If you are believing that you are not the body, you can overcome anything in this world. You will never give reasons for things not being done. Don't give reasons for sickness of the body and this and that and pain. Oh, I was late up last night. That is why I couldn't get up. You think these people are not late up in this night? Doing some work or the other? They are making billions of dollars. And look at you. What are you making? Peanuts. They have overcome their body. I am not asking you that you have to become like them. I'm just saying that in spirituality, a spiritual being is awake constantly. He is doing stuff. You may not understand what he does. Sai Baba may be just sitting. What is he doing? He's running this world. Please understand this. And there is a very strange incident which is mentioned in the Sai Satcharit. Sai Baba used to be seen sitting down or lying on the ground, and then suddenly in the morning people would see him coming down from top. There was one plank which was just 6 inches, this much only. And it was tied with chindi. Chindi means rags to the ceiling. And it was hung like this. And the plank was in the middle. First and foremost, how does a person climb up there? And how does a person sleep over there? And then come down in the morning from there? You see, those who have used the Indian Railways, and if you have tried the upper berth, you know how difficult it is to climb up to the upper berth and then come down. You require the steps to go up. You think Sai Baba had steps to go up? Nobody knew how he climbed up. Nobody knew how he came down. The spiritual beings are perfect. One day Sai Baba put his hand in the dhuni, the fire. Now people asked him, why are you doing this? His hand got burnt. And Baba said, I was trying to save a child. Now nobody can see the child over there. But there was a child being saved somewhere else. The spiritual people work magic elsewhere. How do they work elsewhere? Very simple answer. They are not the body. Many of you have experienced me in your drawing room also, in your bedroom also. How does a person experience a physical being in their place or their country, thousands and thousands of miles away? How does a person experience that? When you have the limitation of a physical body, you can't do anything. But when you are the self, lost in the self, then you can transact anywhere in the world. You can do changes. Just like Mr. Elon Musk can send his rockets up to Mars physically, the sage can work in another space, not with the physical body, but with the spiritual one. I am sure you want that kind of a spiritual body, which will make you work even when you are sleeping. The idea of telling Uddhava this, you got to overcome your physical body and the mental one also. Overcome it. Do not say that I am in pain, I have a problem, this is not working, that is not working. Stop giving reasons for going ahead. A yogi can sit in a yogic posture for many, many years also. Isn't it? You must have heard of this. How can he sit like that? In Vipassana meditation, where they have these classes for 10 days, 12 days, I don't know how many days they have, you have to sit in one place, meditating, not saying a single word, not even flinching or opening your eyes. You are not even supposed to do anything. How can a person achieve that status? So do you understand? You are not the body. He says this, sitting or standing, removed by chance or restored by chance, for he has realized his true nature. The true nature means you are not the body. You are the spirit. The spirit is the one which drives this entire thing around you. You can work in the spirit. For the spirit to work, you do not need even the physical body, okay? And the reason why Sai Baba or any of these great sages, we go to their temples, we go to their mazars, the place where, like Sai Baba's place is there in Shirdi, and a person prays to them and says, please Baba, give me this, do this, do this, do this. And they are able to help that person, even though they do not have a physical body. How can they do that? They can do that because they are in the subtle nature of theirs. They can work the miracles. Krishna is telling Uddhava, do not bother about it. Do not bother about your physical body. Physical body, use it for physical purposes, for doing your jobs like Elon Musk or like Bill Gates. Do that. Keep these things as an example. You have to achieve perfection in your life. Whether it is money, power, fame, fortune, whatever you may think of. To achieve that in your life, you have to set those bars very high. And every time when you tell yourself, I did well, yesterday I got up early, don't be happy about it. Don't. You better get up every day and make it as a habit. Don't keep on praising yourself when you get up few days and then few days later you don't get up. It's like going to the gym, isn't it? Don't do that. These people handle multiple things. They're multitasking, isn't it? Have you not heard about him doing this, that, and so many other things? You look at Bill Gates. Yesterday he resigned from the board of Microsoft. Right? But do you think that man is going to leave what he's doing? He has got so many projects going across the world. He attends conferences. He writes even on the books that he reads. I read this book, that book, that book, that book. He's got time for reading books. He knows the latest of the news. He advises the government. He goes and works in third world countries. He comes and builds toilets in India and God knows what all things he does. Plus he mints money. You got to be ashamed of yourself. You're working in one blessed job. You're doing one thing in your life. And you are giving reasons? To be the perfect man, you got to play with so many things. And not sleep around. And don't give reasons, I can't do this because of that. You got to overcome your own issues. Can you be that person who can do those kind of things? That is called the perfect man. We are going ahead with the next verse. Uddhav Gita, chapter 8, verse 37. The body is verily under the sway of destiny and must remain together with the pranas, so long as the work that originated it has not spent itself. The man who has attained samadhi in yoga and realized the truth no more attaches himself to the body and its appearances, which are all like dream. The body is always under the sway of destiny. What is destiny? Destiny is that which you have brought with yourself. That means when you were born, you were programmed till your death. If you are born in a poor family, that is your destiny. If you are going to be having one leg or one eye, that is your destiny. If you are going to get a spouse who is going to be irritating, that is your destiny. Whomsoever you meet in your life, that is your destiny. Now, destiny is something which is anyway going to happen. Destiny and destination are words which are together. You are going to reach that destination because of the destiny. Got it? So if you have to get married to X, you will get married to that X. Why? Because it is destined to happen and you have to reach that destination. So he says the body is always under the sway of destiny and must remain together with the pranas. You will be alive till the time the destiny is fulfilled. Please remember this. Till the destiny is fulfilled, you are going to be alive. So you cannot wish for yourself, I wish I am dead. You know how many times in life you have said these words? Whenever you have got into the simplest of the troubles, you have always thought, I wish I was dead. I wish I can commit suicide. I wish I can do this. I wish I can run away to the Himalayas. You think running away to the Himalayas is going to give you anything? On the contrary, I am going to send a destiny after you over there. Make you feel so cold that you will come back. So simply it states that destiny is there for the body. And what is the last line that you have to remember? I am not the body. So destiny is only for the body, not for you. In case of destiny, the recent example, okay, the entire store has become empty. What is the first thing that moves away from the stores? All these big stores? It's the toilet paper which moves away. Isn't it? Can you just shut your volume, please? Whoever has joined. So what is the first thing that moved out? Is called the toilet paper. The second thing that moved out is the food items. Yes, I don't have to say what else moved out. But the one thing which remained on the shelves, one thing which is remaining on the shelves is called the Dasani water bottles. Dasani water bottles is a brand. Everybody is wondering why this water bottle is there. So I'm going to tell you about this. The water bottle. Think about it. The bottle has no value once you have drunk the water, isn't it? Which is important? The bottle is important or the water is important? The water is important. The bottle will be crushed and going for recycling most probably, or it is going to end up in some landfills and it's going to destroy the environment. But what happens to the water? The water gets recycled faster and faster and faster. You are the water. Does the water have a name? No. The bottle has a name. So whose bottle is remaining on the shelf? The company which has made it. It's lying on the shelf. But the water inside, it is free. It goes away into the atmosphere. You may drink it, quench your thirst, and there it goes away. Always remember, you are the water, not the bottle. The bottle is going away. Bottle has no importance. Once you drink the water, the bottle has no importance. Likewise, think about it. You have to understand this, that you are not the body. That means you are not that bottle. Got it? The body is always under the sway of destiny. What does it mean? The water bottle was lying on the shelves. It has destiny, which says that it doesn't get sold. Did you get it? But what about the water inside? No problem, sir. The water has nothing to do with the bottle. Got it? The company may lose money or something may happen to it because of the bottle, not because of the water inside. This is a very simple answer. So, the pranas have to remain with you till you are alive. Till you reach your destination, you have to be alive. So pranas are going to work with the body. That's the second sheath. First one is the physical body. Second one is the prana. The prana is the breath. The breath that you take, which keeps you alive, that is the one. So long as the work that originated it has not spent itself. Till you do not complete the work that you have come to do in this world, you cannot leave this world and go away. If you have to suffer for 40 years of your life or 50 years of your life looking at the same person, you have to. Can anybody control it? No. Nobody can control it. Today's day and age, there are lots of issues that are coming up in life. Can you control those issues? A couple decides that they want to have children. Maybe the first child is fine. But when they have the second child may turn out to be having Down syndrome or having some kind of a problem. You know you are locked onto that destiny forever. Till you die, you have to bother about that child. There are live cases right in front of your nose. Can you see those? That means if you are destined to do that, you will be destined to do that. So body is under the sway of destiny. Pranas is under the sway of destiny. You have to complete the task, and before you have finished it, you cannot leave. You have to finish the task and then only go. So, but you have a choice. And the choice is because you are sitting in this satsang. I am telling you the choice is you can move in the spiritual. You can go towards the spiritual realm. Overcome that destiny also. The moment you have this understanding, I am not the body, no destiny can catch you. Alright? A man who has attained samadhi in yoga and realized the truth no more attaches himself to the body. No more. And whatever other parts of the body that are there, he is not bothered. He is not bothered what the hand does. He is not bothered what the leg does. He is not bothered what his genitals are doing. Because he is not the body. This is the truth about spirituality. Think. He is not concerned. And this is the truth about spirituality. The person who has achieved this samadhi. Samadhi, basically you have reached union with God. In yoga, has realized the truth and no more attaches himself to this body and its appearances, which are all like a dream. Everything is like a dream that is happening. He doesn't attach himself to those things. He doesn't attach to what his body is doing. You see, his body may be undergoing a lot of issues. His mind will be undergoing a lot of issues. And yet he knows very well he is not the body and he is not bothered about it. So spiritual people in this world are not bothered about it. Whatever is destined is anyway going to happen to the body. And if it is destined, it is anyway going to happen. Why are you so much bothered about it? Can you not stretch to the limit of how much you can get out of the body? Why do you always have to be lazy and upset and angry and this and that? Be like these great people, no, in this material world. Do something. Go out and not just do one job. You are made for too many things. But remember, it is only connected to the body, and you are not the body. You can stretch your body to the utmost limit. You can do work. Work will make you tired. Work, if you work really hard, it is only going to make you tired. You're not going to die. Take rest. If you think you're going to die, take some rest. But you can work to your limits, and don't be a lazy bone. Got it? We'll do the one more verse. Verse 38 from the Uddhav Gita. O sages, I have told you what is the inmost secret of Sankhya and Yoga. Know me to be Vishnu, come here to enlighten on religion. Now Krishna's statements are these, very, very important. Krishna says, I have come in this world to give you this knowledge. I have come here to tell you, stop giving reasons. You are not the body. He's telling you, please understand this. This is the uttermost, the topmost knowledge that exists in this world. You are not the body. You are that supreme spirit which is capable of doing anything in this world. So, this is the highest secret of Sankhya Yoga. And I am here so that you understand the truth. I have come here to tell you the truth. And the truth is this: do not confine yourself to this body alone. Be the greatest in the world. Spirituality is to rise above the mundane. Don't become an average mundane human being. You are that eternal self. You are a part of me. And that is the truth. And that is why the line where it says, God lives in everybody. Realize the truth. I think we have some 2-3 verses, and this is mostly a closing, so I'll do those 2-3 verses. Chapter 8, Uddhav Gita, verse 39, 40, 41 and 42. O best of the sages, I am the supreme goal of yoga and Sankhya, of truth in practice and theory, of valor and opulence, of glory and self-control. I think I'll do this one. Who is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is Krishna himself. Some people call this ultimate goal as Krishna. Some people call him Father in heaven. Some people call him Allah. Some people call him the highest truth. Some people call him that, or whatever that you wish to call. That is the ultimate truth. Your job as a human being is to reach that destination. He is saying today, I am that ultimate goal of all yogas. Union with God. When it is union with God, that is the place you have to go to. What does it contain? It contains the truth of practice and theory. Whatever is being taught to you is the theory. And the practical aspect of it is what you got to do. Just reading books, by hearting some things, doesn't make a man. Be a human. Be that great person. Apply those teachings in your life. Use them. Practice them. Just don't read them and blabber about it. Practice them. Then only you will become great. I am that valor. I am that opulence, the highest achievable thing in this world. The valor, the greatest valor in the world, I am that. The greatest of opulence is the highest of the rich and the famous and the beautiful and all that is nice in this world is me alone. Of glory and self-control. The highest in the glory and the highest in the self-control is Krishna himself. Is the ultimate Father in heaven. Can you become like me? Can you have that self-control? Can you practice? Do you understand that it is me who is there in your body? The spirit is that. The spirit which can make people achieve the highest is me alone. Krishna says, realize this and try to be that perfect man because you are a part of me. So I have come to the end of the satsang and I will do the remaining 3 verses next time. I'll take your leave, but remember what I said. Be safe and not sorry. Take care of yourself. Have a good day. Bye.